Greetings, gamer guys and gals. I'm Zeake, welcoming you to the 13th part of my Let's Play Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Let's jump into it. Having narrowly escaped Dayan's grasp, the Grail mercenaries are pleased to feel the ocean beneath their feet as they set sail. According to Captain Nazir, the voyage to Begnion will take roughly 2 months. Blessed with temperate weather, the ship's journey southward is smooth and steady. As it passes the midpoint of its trip, the ship sets a course along the coastline and begins to head east. These seas belong to Phoenicius and Kilvis, the kingdoms of the bird tribes. Both nations prey on human vessels for supplies and wealth, and their flying corsairs are feared across the seas. Additionally, the southern portion of the continent contains the realm of the dragon tribe, the monarchy of Goldoa. This country has remained isolated since its founding centuries past, preserving its closed culture behind a veil of mystery. It is these Laguz-controlled waters that Ike and company must now cross. Chapter 12, A Strange Land. Ike? What's bothering you? You've been moping around ever since we came aboard. I'm just a little seasick. Seasick? You're such a bad liar. You never even get regular sick. You're not the type to get seasick. Really, it's nothing. Come on, talk to me. You've been doing so much lately. I just want the chance to help you for a change. Well, alright. I'll tell you what's been bothering me. It's that incident back in Toha. Go on. When everyone discovered Ranulf was a Laguz, all those people, they changed, just like that. Up until that instant, they'd seemed like such kind and decent people. I had no idea Bjork prejudice against the Laguz was so strong. Why do they hate them so much? How are we so different, Ranulf and I? I have to say, at first, I was scared too. When I saw how they could change. They can do things that we Bjork can't do. They're not like us. Mist, you can't honestly feel... It's different now. Everyone's so very nice. But you know, that's because of all the time we've spent together. I've seen how they are. I've gotten to know them. That's why I've changed. I'm not scared or nervous around them, but other people don't get that chance. I think that's why they're frightened. Maybe you're right. Maybe people like me are the odd ones, the people who accept others as they are. I wish more people were like that. I mean, no one really wants to fight, do they? Doesn't everyone want peace? I guess it's just hard to put all of those fears behind us. You're right, it is very hard. Nazir, what's the big idea eavesdropping on us like that? How do you find sailing? Have you gotten sick at all? We're fine, but answer a question for me, would you? Why are you here? Why do you associate with the Laguz? Why? Besides the obvious financial benefits, I suppose I do so because I am one. What? No, you're not a Laguz. I don't see any tail or anything. Because I've chosen to live among Bjork, I've taken certain steps to make sure I'm not recognized. I've had to change my attire, my eating habits. I've done many things. Why would you do that? Laguz cannot survive in isolation, nor can Bjork. If both races are to thrive, they must learn to coexist. I have spent many years searching for a way to make this happen. You think that Laguz and Bjork can live together, after everything you must have seen? I'm impressed. Ike, you will never truly understand a matter unless you look at it from each party's perspective. As you say, the Laguz are indeed now persecuted by the Bjork, but long ago, these roles were reversed. Whatever happened in the past does not justify what we do to the Laguz now. That is the thinking of an honest man. Keep things simple and pure. I like that. Still, the strength of your conviction comes from your youth and your innocence. Trust me, it will be tested. When your journey is over, how will you be changed? I pray your conviction is not lost to despair. Talking to you is hard work. Someday you'll understand. For now, my role is simply to deliver you safely to Begnion. Ranulf has paid me quite handsomely, with money from the King of Gallia himself, and I will not let him down. We're out of our element here at sea, so you're all we have to depend on. Thank you for your help. I will do what I am able. Ike, here's a summary of our last battle. Earned 5,000 gold. Decent bit of EXP, and our MVP was Oscar. Interesting. There were no casualties, and no one suffered permanent injury. We fought excellently. That's all I have to report, if you'll excuse me. Alright, back at base. Ah, Ike, grab that boy. What's going on? No more running for you. Nazir, who is this? A stowaway. I gather he boarded the ship at Toha. What are you doing here? Why did you sneak aboard the ship? You won't talk? In that case... Huh? Ow, ow, ouch! Ike, there's no need to be so rough. I'm not going to waste my time playing games with this urchin. You want me to let you go? Open your mouth and start talking. Ow, 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 ow! Quit it, I'll talk. That hurt. I thought you were going to break my face. Face is probably the last thing I would have thought there. Like, maybe break his arm. Maybe he was, like, twisting his arm or something. How was he going to break his face? Well, what's your name? What are you doing here? I'm Soth. I'm a thief, but I didn't come on board this ship to steal anything. Stop scowling at me like that. You're making me uncomfortable. It's not just you. Ike always looks like that. Don't mind him. Just keep talking. I'm looking for someone. I heard the ship was sailing for Begnion, so I decided to climb aboard. This person you're after isn't Begnion? I don't know. The trail went cold in Toha, and I couldn't think of anywhere else to go from here. Is it family? Huh? Oh my, wow, that was just absolutely poor English. Is it family? We're not talking about an animal or an object here. In the English language, the word it implies objectivity. Always. There is no calling somebody an it. It is either he or she, and neither both, and definitely not it. The person you're looking for. Yeah, I mean, we're not related by blood or anything, but we're definitely family. Alright, so we get another choice, and interestingly enough, this third choice in our game is to choose whether we aid or hire, quote-unquote, another thief, basically. So all of our choices thus far that have been game-changing in their aptitude have been towards thieves. I almost wonder if that was morally a decision they made to basically say, well, look, you know, Western viewers might not like having thieves in their games, so why don't we give them the option to not use thieves? I kind of like that, to be honest, because, you know, morality in video games does have a certain place. I especially don't believe that political correctness or any kind of politics belong in games, but morality, yeah. I don't think we should have games, particularly, in my own view, some folks will disagree, that are just for blood, guts, and gore. I think it's disgusting and pretty shameworthy. But games like this that really provide like a story that are trying to gear you towards making certain moral decisions and understanding what's going on in the world, kind of like having a worldview inside of a game. I think that's pretty cool. And I really do like the way that the story of this game goes. And the story of most Fire Emblem games is very awesome because they do this in almost every game. They bring a kind of realism to the morality and to the politics in game that do not have to be just shoved in politics or coerced politics from our quote-unquote real life. I personally can't stand games that try to force down your throat acceptance of certain political ideals that are current and modern that are pretty well and disgusting. I just don't appreciate it. Like, for instance, Ike's way of speaking about a person there. You don't speak about a person with objectivity or multiplicity. You don't say there when you don't know if it's when you know it's a single person and you don't know whether it's a he or she. You say he in the grammatically correct English if you do not know the gender of any person. You don't say he or she, you say he. That's the grammatical correct understanding of English. We don't need to be throwing away our language because people get offended. So we're going to go ahead and aid Soth. Alright, Nazir, my mercenary company will look after this boy. He won't be a burden to you or your crew. If that's what you want to do, it's fine with me. Are you sure? You're going to be put to work. I hope you're prepared. Sure, no problem. I'll do whatever you need. Volk? Right here. Gah, where have you been? You disappeared the moment we got onto the ship. Don't worry about it. I'll be there when you need me. It's not me, it's my sister. You've never once shown up for a meal, and she thinks you're dying of hunger. Did we ever eat together while we were on land? Alright, listen, land, big. Ship, small. It's not the same thing. I don't want Mist roaming the ship with a plate of food anymore, so please, eat 1 meal a day with us. 100 gold. You're going to charge me to make you eat? And that's more than you charge to pick a lock. Why? I don't like large groups. Bye. Call me if you decide it's worth it. Maybe I should just tell Mist he's dead. I do like that option. Oh, you don't look so well. Are you alright? I'm seasick. When I was traveling with the merchants, we sometimes used ships. Every time was the same. I'm sorry. Did you travel with Mustin and the others for a long time? About 4 years, all told. I had just left home, you see. I was all alone and I couldn't find work. In my hometown, I had so many people I could depend on. But once I left, everything changed. If Mustin's group hadn't found me by the side of the road, I'd probably be dead by now. You seem to have led quite an adventurous life. It's a bit surprising. I get that a lot. I find it hard to imagine that you couldn't find work, though. Your magic skills are amazing. And you're quite right about that, Ike. You know, we're not using her just because I don't have a spot on my team for her. But she's a perfectly serviceable mage, especially early game mage, and in comparison to Soren over there, she has a pretty decent strength growth, something I didn't talk about prior, which means that her tome weight will probably be utterly mitigated by her strength, which is pretty good. Something that Soren probably won't have the opportunity to claim in this playthrough, even on fixed mode where his stats are virtually guaranteed. Aren't they, though? Hee hee. I'm always happy when people notice. Whew, wow. I feel so much better now. I'm actually starting to get hungry. I'm glad to hear it. Just stay above deck, and when you start to feel sick, look off at the horizon, alright? I wonder if that works. Alright, supports. Titania and Boyd. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. 98, 99, 100. Done. Bleh. What's the point in swinging an axe by myself? I should probably try to find Ike. But maybe a quick nap first. Boyd! Ah, Titania! Where do you think you're going? Are you blowing off your training again? No, I'm not slacking, I swear. I was just, going to work out with Ike. You know me, I'm all about the fighting. Boyd, I know that training is tough. But if you make light of it, you're closer to death than you ever want to be. You're a mercenary. When you're confused or exhausted during a battle, instincts make all the difference. But Titania, I just can't get into training when I don't have a partner. Can't get into it. Boyd? Don't make me chew you out again. Joking. I'm joking. Just joking. What I just said, all a joke. Ha ha ha. Ha. Oh, I'm just dying to do some practice swings. Hi-ya. Boy training is so much fun. Isn't that right, Titania? Ooh, I love training. Darn it, Boyd. Why are you so lazy? You're a natural fighter, you know that? You could even be a better fighter than me if you were just to put your mind to it. Anyway, keep practicing. Alrighty. I think that's all the supports we can do. No skills to give. We do have 500 bonus EXP. I think that Marsha could use a fair bit of this, to be honest. Yeah, she is the furthest behind. We could at least get her up a little bit. And a blank level. Not totally surprising. Again, fixed mode will do that sometimes because your stats are queued for level gains. And this is why. This happens quite often. Whenever you get a blank level up, typically your next level is quite good. Which I appreciate. I actually am okay with the occasional blank levels as long as I'm going to, continue getting the stats I want and need. Alright, level 12. She'll be pretty on par with everybody else. I think we're going to give the last little bit of bonus EXP to Soren. We do kind of want to promote him as soon as possible. Seeing that he'll become a sage, and you get to choose a sage's 4th weapon. And the weapon I'm going to be choosing for him will allow him to have far much more utility in my game, rather than just what he has to offer. Ooh, we could give Mia a level. Awesome. She could definitely do with some more levels. Levels like that, however, not so sure. Alright, let's go to outfit. Alright, so we're going to do something pretty interesting here. In fact, let's see. Yeah, we can give Boyd 1 level, get him to 14, with that few bit of bonus EXP there. Alright, level up. And then we're going to promote Boyd. Early promote. We will soon see the reason why this chapter. Promotion on a boat. I do love how that the base camps change as you move along in the story in this game. It's kind of really disappointing that 3 houses, at least the post-time skip and all the classes, didn't have different bases and different quote-unquote monasteries. Now, I know that would have been quite the task, but man, it would have been cool. Alright, now that we have Boyd early promoted, I'm going to go ahead and throw in that pole axe. And we are going to forge him an iron bow. I wish I could forge him a steel bow, because it would just be way better. But, what can you do? He only starts with E rank in bows, so. And we're going to name this Miletus. Yeah, I think that's it. Why Miletus? I have no idea, I just like the name. Alright, so now Boyd has 2 forges. Let's see if we have anything to sell. Alright, we're getting rid of the slim sword, finally. I don't know why in the world I was continuing to keep it, if you want my honest opinion. Slim weapons in this game are virtually useless, because they're both not powerful and just not good. Alright. We do have some stat boosters to give away. We're going to keep the Speedwing for now for a later strategy, but I believe I know who's going to get that Draco shield. Oh, it's on somebody. Oscar, to be exact. Help her survivability because she is going to be on the front lines quite often. Alright, let's make sure we have the right weapons equipped. Titania could deal or use a Steel Lance. I think that would be good. And Volk can yield that L Wind. Iron Blade instead of a Slim Sword. Much heavier, but technically much better. I think we're going to go ahead and permanently bench Rise here. We can always give Soth a Vulnerary just in case. I am going to be using him for his Thief utility, but I will never be using him for combat. So we'll see that later on, hopefully. Alright, that's it. Let's move on. Nazir, what is it? Nothing. Nothing we can do anything about at any rate. We're being followed by pirates. Really? I don't see any ships. Not by sea. By air. Look up. Are those birds? If they are, they must be huge. Those are Laguz, Ike. Ravens from Kilvis. Their black wings are an ill omen for all who see them. Titania, Soren, you noticed them coming as well? Yeah, Soren and I saw them when we were discussing our plans from the aft decks. I heard stories, but they're really flying. Wow. We're still out of their range, but airborne foes can be especially troublesome. I'd prefer to avoid them altogether. Let's see if we can outrun them. From what I've been told, the flying corsairs of Kilvis and Phoenicius are far more cruel than any beast Laguz. Winged pirates? How am I supposed to fight against that? Interesting that you brought that up, especially since we just had some conversations the last couple of chapters about it. What was that? Oof, it felt like we hit something. Blast, we've run aground. We must be caught on a reef or something. Move it, lads. Get the ship free. Ike, the crows are coming. Pull everyone together. Looks like we're in for a fight. Guzzlia C. Predictable humans. Sailed right into our trap without fail. Let's finish this quickly. It won't be long before Phoenicius or Goldoa take an interest in what's happening here. Soren, do you have a plan? I've done research in the past. All members of the bird tribes are vulnerable to wind magic. I think it's safe to assume that they are also susceptible to arrows as any other flyer. Wind magic and bows. Alright, everyone gather your weapons and prepare to meet the enemy on the deck. I want a small group to remain below decks to protect Princess Alencia and the crew. We've never faced an enemy like this. I want everyone to stay together. Let's go. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and reposition, well, in the ways that I personally like to have my units positioned. Alright, Soren. I know that probably seems kind of silly, but I like my positioning to be pretty consistent. I have kind of an order about things. All right, let's go. All right, so even though this chapter is a route chapter, 9 times out of 10, I play it as if it is defense chapter. I think that's just the best way to handle this chapter in general. And let's do a little bit of ward spam. We're not going to fight any magic users, so ward is virtually pointless in this chapter unless you're using it just for the EXP and the weapon rank, which we are definitely doing that for. I did also do something kind of weird in the beginning of this. I put Boyd's Miletus equipped on him so that he wouldn't counter. This bird is obviously going to attack him because either Ike or Titania would be able to counter. Well, I say obviously, but he could choose to fight Ike. I think that'd be kind of silly. But the whole purpose of this, the reason why I early promoted Boyd is because we don't have a good archer on this team. And even though effectiveness in weapons is not that good in this game, I've said it before, I'll say it again because it just really isn't. This might of this weapon is doubled, so he'll effectively have 22 might with this weapon. It'll help me defeat the boss and maybe weaken some enemies. He's not going to double anything, so as long as he doesn't one-shot with the bow, he can weaken the enemies enough so that the rest of my units can get an easy KO on them. And if I leave him exposed with a weapon he can't retaliate on, the Ravens are going to be more inclined to attack him. I think it's a pretty solid strategy. Now, most of the Ravens in this chapter have either a stealable or a droppable item. Any item that's in red is droppable. And if you extend this chapter as long as possible till you get every last reinforcement, they have more stuff. And on higher difficulties, they have more stat boosters like the Seraph Robe. One of the things we brought Volk here for in this chapter is to steal this elixir from the boss. We'll be doing that before he ever even gets the chance to use even one use of it. Alright, let's end our phase. Just as I suspected. Attacking Boyd. Now, you can take this chapter pretty darn slow, and if you do, you'll get the benefits of all of the reinforcements having their droppable or stealable items, which is good for that. However, I'm going to be attempting to basically defeat as many enemies as I possibly can every single turn, because I don't want to be swarmed, and I also, we'll see another reason why that is in a few. There's somebody coming. We don't want her to be swarmed by enemies as well. Alright, so if we use the Steel Lance here, we can get some reliable and pretty decent chip. Just about no units on your team are going to be able to double these Ravens. The thing that Ravens are known for in the Tellius games is speed. They're basically the thieves or myrmidons of the Laguz factions, the tribes. And some of the Ravens in later chapters actually have the soldier skill steal that would normally be on a thief, thus further implying that that's exactly what they are. All right. Heal you up. I mean, more magic is always better, but you could do better than that, Mist. And we could soften this guy up so that somebody else can take this KO. Now, I did mention before this chapter that I really wanted a specific someone to promote as soon as possible, and that someone is Soren. And because of that, we're going to feed him a few KOs this chapter. And they give really awesome EXP because they are technically considered promoted units. Now, we're going to go over here with Volk and trade over the king throwing a javelin for the Iron Lance. Reason being is because there is no point or purpose in wasting your ranged weapons on enemy counter attacks if they can't use range. And no Laguz in this game can use ranged attacks besides a special skill, which doesn't really come into play, so we're not worried about that. You also want to be careful about your placement, too, with your units. If you have units like I am placing them in this kind of like defensive circle to defend the weaker units of your party, they can fly around that mast and attack from behind. Vantage coming into play, however, it didn't really do much because, you know, it's not like we criticaled. Still, Vantage is a wonderful skill. Oh, what's this? Caught up. At last. I'll do this on my own. I will not let them escape. Huh? What are those things? Giant birds? Disgusting. Could they be... Are they... bird half-breeds? Alright, so we get the other reason here as to why we don't want to allow ourselves to be swarmed with enemies. We do not want them to constantly attack Jill over here, who is not that strong. Now, she will self-recruit by going up to Ike and talking to him. So I typically want to put Ike in a position that she'll recruit herself in the next turn. I'll do that after this turn. It won't really matter. Now, she does come with the Laguz guard, which is pretty great. It's definitely something you want to keep in this game. I believe you get 2 of them. Both of them are magnanimously useful, especially in the late game chapters. They half all damage that Laguz do. Now, this doesn't show in the combat forecast. It doesn't. So let's say a Laguz unit is doing 7 damage to you, or 8 damage. Let's make it a little bit simpler. 8 damage. It would actually say 8, but if you have the Laguz guard equipped, it's only going to do 4. The Laguz is only going to do 4 damage. However, this is rounded down as well. So I guess I could have used the whole 7 as an example of this as well. If they're doing 7, they'll actually do 3 because it's halved and then rounded down. Alright, we have quite a few units to get rid of here. Alright, throw the Titan Axe, do some more damage. Now, this is typically how people like to use their pre-promoted Paladins or Jagan units in these games, is they like to soften up enemies and then finish them with weaker units. Which is a very viable strategy, but I do like using all of my units to their fullest potential, the ones that I am actually fielding. Alright. Yep, we'll do some damage with the Steel Axe. Oh, perfect. We get an exact KO. Let's go ahead and re-equip my Letus there. And finish him off with Elwind. And that is a defeated Raven. Very close to a level. We'll probably give him some chip damage next to get that level, actually. Alright. Okay. And he goes for Boyd, as I expected. Alright, she'll be able to go right behind Ike right there and recruit herself, so that's perfect. Do some minuscule chip damage. Just enough to level up, that's all that really mattered. And a pretty fair level, I'd say. Alright, put this guy really low so that we can take him out with... I think we're going to go ahead and take him out with Marsha, maybe Mia. I haven't decided quite yet. We'll see who needs the EXP more. Well, I think that would just have to be Marsha. And a crit. Pretty cool. That's not very often you see that crit. I will say that one of the ways that people like to do this map is having a fully bonus EXP and trained up, and you know, all the stat boosters given to Marsha and promoted usually, and just go around and cut swaths through these enemies. Not a bad strategy. Not one we will be employing. And let's move on. It's really weird that she didn't decide to fly behind him. She had the range to. Very weird. Alright. Yep, we can heal Titania. I kind of don't want to use the ward unless I have turns in which I have no one to heal. And I will typically heal, you know, pointless healing like that. Titania didn't need that extra 3 health. But I'll do that because you really want to raise her weapon ranks. And because in this game you can decide whatever weapon ranks you want to be S rank for your unit. There's only a few S-rank weapons in this game, and there is an S-rank sword that Mist could use, quote-unquote, but I would much rather her be able to use the S-rank staff. It's just such a better weapon. Well, better tool. You! Why are you lollygagging about? Who are? I am Jill Fazart, Wyvern Rider of Dayan, attached to Commander Har's battalion. I offer a truce. I cannot sit by and allow a human vessel to be attacked by subhuman degenerates. I will fight with you. We will accept no help from Dayan. This is no place for foolish pride. At this rate, the subhumans will devour you. I will not accept aid from anyone who thinks Laguz are subhuman. What are you babbling about? I'm on your side. We'll talk about after I chase off these crows. Bleed the half-breed. Hold it. What in the world is going on? Well, what's going on is that we got a unit we don't need. Ah, Jill. There are many people who love her, and I definitely see her viability and understand why they do. We are not using her this playthrough, unfortunately. Alright, so when you give somebody an item in this game, unlike future games in the series, it doesn't just auto-equip. You do have to equip it with that unit. Okay. Get a little bit of sword EXP on him. On her. On him by her. Goodness, I can't speak English today. And a level from chip damage. Very great. Decent. Oscar does need speed. The boss will be showing his ugly face very soon. Alright. We can use our last little bit of that wind tome. And let's hope we hit. Awesome. Alright, end our turn. Plunder away. King Naysala has given us his blessings. And the Laguz guard coming in great handy right there. Yeah, interestingly enough, we have a Laguz here who untransformed, and he is trying to escape. So we're going to probably have to send Marsha after him. Let's hope this hits. It would be a great bit of chip damage. Awesome. All right. Okay, I can't steal right there for some reason. This boss is quite a terror compared to normal Laguz or bosses at this current juncture in this game. But it's partially due to the fact that he has a demi-band, which allows him to stay transformed indefinitely as long as he has it equipped. But it does minus some of his stats, as you can see here. Alright, so yeah, we'll go ahead and attack him. A little bit of chip damage. That displayed 13 as actually only 6 damage. So technically I could have attacked him with the Iron Blade and I still wouldn't have been defeated there. Beautiful level, Mia. Keep on keeping on. Alright. We can steal that. Yep, and Soren can get the KO, which is exactly what we want. So let's go ahead and do it. And defeated. Arg, I'm falling. Yep, falling to the wind. And it gives us a full level. Pretty good, pretty good. Let's move Jill out of the way. Move Boyd back a little bit. Finish this guy off with Ike. Ike hasn't gotten any action this entire fight. I was contemplating giving Mist another KO there, you know, for weapon EXP on her sword. However, she has a little bit of healing to do. And I think I would prefer her to heal. The faster she gets S rank, the better. That way I won't have to worry about whether or not I accidentally give her S rank with the sword. I don't think it'll happen, because that is quite a long ways away. Alright, this guy is running away, and we'll have none of it. As you can see right there, 30 damage. Effective weaponry might not be great, but on a strong enough unit with a strong enough weapon, it can still do its fair share. Mist has done quite a lot of work with her men's staff this chapter. Pretty decent level. Not the best. Definitely not the worst. And Mia can take this one. An awesome arm scroll. Alright. Alright. Let's go ahead and take out this guy. I don't... it's going to take more than one turn to take him out, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Aw, unlucky miss. Yeah, the way that this map works, and maps like it with these boats, is that this is considered a ledge in between these two sections, so you can't actually attack with a melee ranged weapon. Alright. Let's heal up Ike. And finish this guy off with our Elwind. And that'll be all she wrote for this turn. Okie dokie. So all we can do now is just heal up whoever needs healing. Take out that final crow. And we're done with the chapter. As long as Marcia doesn't miss either of those, you know. Which she didn't. If she missed both, we'd be waiting a whole nother turn. And our resident Pegasus Knight becomes level 13. And gets us that beautiful Seraph robe. Is everyone alright? I'll check on injuries. Those crows make fierce opponents. Nazir, how's the ship? Completely immobilized. We can't shake free of this reef. I feel useless just waiting around here. There has to be something I can do to help. Hey, Ike, where are you going? Should you be leaving the ship? Nothing's getting done sitting around here. I just want to go ashore and see what I can see. What? Hold on, Ike. You can't, that's... Ah, Ike, behind you. You there. What are you doing? Huh? This could be trouble. This is Goldoan territory. Outsiders are not permitted. No, wait, you don't understand. Our ship has run aground. There's nothing we can do. We're stuck here. Then return to your ship. What happens to Bjork is none of our affair. That's ridiculous. You're a complete... You have been warned. You will not be warned a second time. Hey! Cease this at once. What do you think you're doing? My Lord Prince. Man of the Bjork, my countrymen were discourteous. I ask that you forgive them. Who are you? I'm Kurth Naga, Prince of Goldoa. The Prince? Now we're getting somewhere. Thanks to some Kilvis pirates, our ship's run aground. Can you lend us any help? What is it? You can't help us, can you? I'm not used to being addressed in such a direct manner. I was taken off guard. My apologies. No, I didn't. If anyone should apologize here, it's me. My father had a great deal to say about my lack of etiquette. I'm sorry. I did not mean to offend you. Please, pay it no mind. I am more concerned with the misfortune your journey has met. Of late, the ravens have grown ever more barbarous, and this cannot stand. My father will lodge a formal protest with Kilvis, I assure you. In the meantime, we shall help you with your ship. Gareth, direct the others to push their ship free. At once. Dragons! They're all dragons! They're huge and so strong. It's incredible. It's overwhelming. Yeah, it is. Goldoa is the land of the dragons. More than any other Laguz tribe, they are known for their longevity. I've heard tales of Goldoans still living, who flew the skies when the goddess herself still walked the land. How is it you know so much about Goldoa? Everything I've learned comes from books. Goldoa itself no longer has any contact with the outside world. Seeing them now, it's like a dream. So this is a good fortune, is that what you're saying? She's saying we got lucky. For once, your recklessness actually got us out of trouble. What's that supposed to mean? We have moved your ship safely and without harm to you or your vessel. My subjects tell me your ship was indeed lodged against a reef. However, there was no structural damage to your ship. We need not interrupt your journey. That's good news. Thank you. Is there anything else you require? If you need food or fresh water, we can replenish your supplies. That would be most appreciated. We are beginning to run low on water. As for food, any fruit, meat, fish, anything fresh would be wonderful. It shall be done. Gareth, will you see to it? Yes, at once. I know that Goldoa does not engage in trade with other nations, but will you accept gold in payment? Do not worry about payment. But you've done so much for us when you could have left us to die out here. We must repay you somehow. Sweet courtesy is ever the herald of hospitality. Will this suffice to explain my actions? Hospitality, isn't that for guests? As you know, Goldoa prefers isolation. We rarely see foreigners, especially Bjork, and even more rarely do we treat with them. Chance has brought us together, and I am grateful for this opportunity. In fact, I wish we could feast a while and converse. However, my father would never allow it. You can't expect us to accept a gift so generous. But I do. I insist that you consider it a personal gift from the Goldoa's prince. However, I have made you uncomfortable, so if you feel you must decline. No, of course not. We will be happy to accept your gift. We appreciate it. I'm so pleased you understand. Ike, Captain Nazar wants to depart as soon as possible. Understood. Well then, I beg your leave. Prince Kurthnaga, I won't forget your kindness. Thank you. It was my pleasure. Take care. Farewell, Bjork. May your journey be safe. My Lord Ike, is something amiss? First those ravens attack us, and then a band of Goldoan dragons rescues us. I can't understand how they are all considered Laguz. Is that strange? No, I see what you're saying. Just as there are both good and evil Bjork, there must be good and evil Laguz as well. But they are so distinct in appearance, it is tempting to assume each race is, as a whole, intrinsically good or evil. Aye, that it is. The beast tribes of Gallia and the dragon tribes of Goldoa seem so honorable, and the bird tribes of Kilvis and Phoenicius seem so cruel. It seems so easy to reduce them all to good or evil. Interesting that you say that, Ike, especially since we got a little glimpse of Laguz prejudice against Bjork in Gallia, and how the King Kanagus himself was very, very adamant about the point that his own citizenry did not really care for Bjork themselves, and anti-Bjork sentiment was at an all-time high in the nation. And then we've also never met Phoenicius, anybody from Phoenicius, so you can't really say much about that either. That's kind of some pretty interesting plot hole observations I'm making here. I'm sure it can't be as simple as that. Look at us Bjork. Daeans are evil and Crimeans are not. It's as simple as that. Well, wait. There were those prejudiced fools we met in port. They weren't all that honorable. Maybe you're right. Much of what seems good and evil is simply a matter of perspective, Ike. I'm sorry people actually have this point of view. Many conditions affect our judgment. Drawing a definitive line is nigh impossible. Nazar, where have you been? You vanished without a trace. I am uncomfortable around dragons. Wonder why that could be. I thought it would be better if I stayed below in my cabin. My apologies. Now that you mention it, Soren seems to have disappeared as well. Have you seen him? Perhaps he's feeling nauseated. For one unaccustomed to sea travel, it's not uncommon. Right. I think I'll check up on him later. The wind is picking up. I believe I will go and check on the condition of our sails. Keep yourselves warm up here. It's a chill wind that blows in these waters. Princess Silencia, you should be returning to your cabin. What about you, my Lord Ike? I'll stay on deck a while longer. I have a lot to think about. Would you mind if I stayed here with you? I won't be any bother. It's all right with me. Oh, thank you. A pretty decent amount of bonus EXP. Would have got much more if we had finished a few turns earlier. But we had a Laguz to chase. Goodness, I wasn't expecting that one. It's pretty funny. All right, that was part 13, chapter 12, A Strange Land. I'll see you next time.